Hello, and welcome to my presentation about why I would play Guild Wars 2's second expansion, Path of Fire, created by ArenaNet, which is released on the 22nd of September 2017. Let me first begin by introducing myself. My account name is caverock.4869, and on Reddit plus Twitch TV you can find me as BlueVoltron42. This presentation will be made up of two parts. The first part will introduce what the expansion is about and contains, plus also how to obtain it. The second part will be a discussion about the 9 new elite specializations and how they currently shape up in my opinion. Now let's begin. Guild Wars 2, Path of Fire. Guild Wars 2 is like a phoenix rising from the ashes, with the introduction and announcement of its second expansion, Path of Fire. Old, current and new players have seen and heard about the announcement and reveal. This has rejuvenated the Guild Wars 2 community and given us much hope. Path of Fire opens up the world of Tyria even more than before and brings to the fore the region of the Crystal Desert and the Elonian culture. This shall bring some of the old narrative to a close or be resolved and open up opportunity for new stories to be told. Mounts will be added, including the Raptor, Jackal, Skimmer and Springer, each offering different modes to travel such as long jump, teleport, skimming or high jump. 9 new elite specializations have been added, including the Deadeye, Firebrand, Hollowsmith, Mirage, Renegade, Scourge, Soul Beast, Spellbreaker and Weaver. New mechanics, both functional and class related, have been added to the game. Plus, many new items such as gear, food or utilities have been added or adjusted through balance patches leading up to and including the expansion. Therefore, a new meta is definitely happening once Path of Fire releases. This is perhaps the biggest reason I would play Guild Wars 2 in late 2017, and why also I would encourage other gamers or MMO players to also pick up Path of Fire as soon as possible. I shall now list my top 6 reasons to play Guild Wars 2 on September 22nd when Path of Fire launches to the public. They fall under 3 specific areas that I'm discussing basically. They include the meta, the game, and the people. So here's the 6 reasons. 1. A fresh start. 2. Change. 3. Evolution. 4. Longevity. 5. Community. 6. Friendship. There are 3 purchase packages. They include the standard at $29.99 which would appeal to current and existing players that already own the base game, and the first expansion, Heart of Thorns. Therefore, they only need Path of Fire unless they want extra gems. In that case, they should go for another purchase package. The Deluxe purchase package at $59.99 would be for new players wanting to get the base game, Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, but no gems. Finally, the Ultimate purchase package at $79.99, that would give new and old players everything they ever wanted in the game, including the base game, Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, and a lot of gems. These gems could be used to buy fashion items such as outfits, dyes, and quality of life items such as name change, face change, hair change items, etc. on the gem store. Or lastly, a new player could just convert the gems into gold to spend in some of the game's trading post. And that could be buying something like weapons, armor, runes or sigils, etc. to help them get started. Or an older player could use those gems to get a head start or an edge over other less wealthy players or accounts. This is caverock4869 or BlueVoltron42 signing out. Stay safe, have fun and enjoy the game at your own pace. Peace out. P.S. I conducted this project to increase my presence in the Guild Wars 2 community. You might already know me on YouTube, Twitch TV, Reddit, or the Guild Wars 2 forums. Otherwise, we may have met in game already. For now, I'm currently unable to play because of financial and medical reasons and a lack of a working computer, but that will not stop me from spreading the word of mouth to others that they should go ahead and pick up Path of Fire before the 22nd of September so that they are prepared for Guild Wars 2's big launch of its second expansion, Path of Fire. Have fun all. Welcome back everybody. This is part 2 of the presentation and is an SPvP plus WvW person's perspective, look and opinion on Guild Wars 2's Path of Fire's 9 new elite specializations in alphabetical order. It excludes PvE, fractal and raid related information. It is conducted in a specific order. 1. The elite. 2. The weapon or weapons. 3. Its main focus. 4. The new utility skills added. 5. The elite's main mechanics. 6. Its current position in the Path of Fire meta. And 7. My personal opinion. Plus finally, what can be done by the balance team. Now, let's get started. 1. The Deadeye. The Deadeye is a new elite specialization for the thief profession. A Deadeye can use a rifle as its weapon. Power damage and stealth are its main focus. Cantrips are the new utility skills that have been added. Malice is the Deadeye elite's mechanic. Currently, the Deadeye appears to have a strong position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I dislike this new elite based on the fact that it appears overpowered at close range, of which it should only excel at long range like a sniper. Therefore, some toning down of its up-close damage needs to be conducted in balance patches as soon as possible before it gets out of control. 2. The Firebrand. The Firebrand is a new elite specialization for the Guardian profession. A Firebrand can use an axe as its weapon. Condition damage, support and boons are its main focus. Mantras are the new utility skills that have been added. Tomes are the Firebrand elite's mechanic. Currently, the Firebrand appears to have a weak position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I love this new elite, based on its aesthetic and animations, especially the tomes. One problem that makes it appear weak or clunky is the cast times and mantras, which are too slow. The balance team need to fix these long cast times on mantras to make the elite specialization's utility skills viable in the meta. 3. The Hollowsmith. The Hollowsmith is a new elite specialization for the engineer profession. A Hollowsmith can use a sword as its weapon. Power damage and some utility are its main focus. Exceeds are the new utility skills that have been added. Photon Forge plus Barrier are the Hollowsmith's elite's mechanics. Currently, the Hollowsmith appears to have a strong position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I like this new elite based on the light/heat concept. The Photon Forge overheating and cooling is an extremely fun mechanic that has well-designed traits that back it up. One thing the balance team needs to work on is toning down the Hollowsmith's power damage and perhaps next the might generation, as it is just too overpowered in an AoE cleave situation. 4. The Mirage. The Mirage is a new elite specialization for the Mesmer profession. A Mirage can use an axe as its weapon. Condition damage, movement, and avoidance are its main focus. Deceptions are the new utility skills that have been added. Ambushes and Mirage Cloak are the Mirage's elite's mechanics. Currently, the Mirage appears to have a moderate position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I am confused by the potential of this new elite based on the fact that it appears to have an interesting concept which might be too complex or complicated to pull off. The balance team may need to watch the way the pendulum swings with regards to the condition damage output and also conduct slight tweaks with skills pertaining to Mirage Cloak to make it work well in the Path of Fire meta. 5. The Renegade. The Renegade is a new elite specialization for the Revenant profession. A Renegade can use a short bow as its weapon. Condition and some power damage along with offensive boons and buffs are its main focus. Legendary Renegade stances are the new utility skills that have been added. The legend that can be channeled is Color Scorch Razor, and Fervor is the Renegade's elite's mechanic. Currently, the Renegade appears to have a weak position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I am disappointed with this new elite, based on the fact that it is purely focused on damage, which is low at the moment compared to other elites, and it terribly lacks defense and condition cleanses, which I thought the Revenant might have received with the expansion. The balance team will have to watch the Renegade's lack of defense and squishiness in the Path of Fire meta. 6. The Scourge. The Scourge is a new elite specialization for the Necromancer profession. A Scourge can use a torch as its weapon. Condition damage, support and debuffs are its main focus. Punishments are the new utility skills that have been added. Sandshades and Barrier are the Scourge's elite's mechanic. Currently, the Scourge appears to have a moderate position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I am undecided but interested in this new elite, based on the aesthetic and animations of its skills. Also, I am intrigued by the Barrier mechanic, although it may be gimmicky, as the rapid decrease in Barrier may not be as good as Aegis or a standard heal/regeneration. The balance team will need to watch the condition application and condition damage output of this elite. So far, it appears okay in the Path of Fire meta. 7. The Soul Beast. The Soul Beast is a new elite specialization for the Ranger profession. A Soul Beast can use a dagger as its weapon. Hybrid damage and multiple pet skills makes it a jack of all trades but a master of none. It might be hard to build right, and that is the Soul Beast's focus. Stances are the new utility skills that have been added. Beast Mode is the Soul Beast's elite's mechanic. Currently, the Soul Beast appears to have a weak position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I am puzzled by not the concept of this elite, but its poor or rushed implementation. I suspected and hoped that Beast Mode would work like a kit, but I suppose it did not happen, and we have to live with that now. Because of that, the balanced team will have to manage many skills that are at times hard for a Soul Beast to access when needed. I consider these as locked or gated skills. 8. The Spellbreaker. The Spellbreaker is a new elite specialization for the warrior profession. A Spellbreaker can use dual daggers as its weapons. Power damage, debuffs, and reveal are its main focus. Meditations are the new utility skills that have been added. Counterattack is the Spellbreaker elite's mechanic. Currently, the Spellbreaker appears to have a strong position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I am happy-ish with this new elite, based on the fact that it now has a designated role other than just pure damage or tankiness. The Spellbreaker now slots into being the true remover of boons and therefore has replaced the Necromancer. The balance team will have to watch that the Spellbreaker does not become too overpowered. Currently, the meditation, heal and sustain of the Spellbreaker needs toning down. 9. The Weaver. The Weaver is a new elite specialization for the Elementalist profession. A Weaver can use a sword as its weapon. Hybrid damage and self-made boons are its main focus. Stances are the new utility skills that have been added. Weaving of double attunements and barrier are the Weaver Elite's mechanics. Currently, the Weaver appears to have a moderate position in the initial phase of the Path of Fire expansion meta. My personal opinion is that I am hopeful for this new elite and glad there is a potential DPS specialization for the Elementalist, as previously the only spec that I found to work for the Elementalist was support or healing. The balance team will have to watch the Weaver's potential for becoming overpowered because of power damage output. One slight change to a few of the skills might put them in the OP basket in the Path of Fire meta. That concludes the presentation. Thank you very much for listening. This is CaveRock 4869 and Blue Voltron 42 signing out. Goodbye.